mankind is to venture out into the unknown regions of space, surely we will encounter beings both beautiful and terrifying. What's out there? What lies ahead? It's the fear of the unknown that lies at the heart of the Corbomite Maneuver. With this episode, the show finally began to come together. You'll notice that the sets and the costumes look more like they should. This episode also marks the first appearance of DeForest Kelley, Nichelle Nichols, and Grace Lee Whitney. As for me, I have to admit that at this point in the series, I was still having trouble getting a hold on Spock's character. It would be a few more shows before the Vulcan truly hit his stride. Star Trek may have been a little rough around the edges, but all of the pieces were in place. In spite of the growing pains, the Corbomite Maneuver still stands out as one of the best episodes of the first season.
Well, the episode was the Corbomite Maneuver, and I played a character called Commander Baylock. And I was 6 or 7 years old. I think I may have just turned 7 when we shot the episode.
This is Baylock, commander of the flagship Viserys of the First Federation. Your vessel has demonstrated your intention is not peaceful. We are now considering the disposition of your ship and the life aboard.
Well, now, they had told me they were not going to dub my voice. Now, whether that was just a ploy to get me to do it as good as I could do it, but the plan that they had told me back then was that they were going to put my voice through a synthesizer. And that's how they were going to have Baylock's voice, which may have been the plan. They may have tried it, and it may not have worked, so they went ahead and brought in the gentleman, Vic, I believe, to do the voiceover. Let me tell you one story about how Star Trek has affected me. When I was about 22 or 23 years old, I had an audition to go in and meet George Lucas. Now, I knew of George, and I had met George one time before that. But George was a big, powerful director, and I was nervous as a young man, young adult, trying to get an acting job. I went in to the meeting, and I walked through the doors, and Francis Coppola was sitting there, and George Lucas was sitting there, and I'm nervous. I walked through the doors, and George is sitting in the quintessential executive's chair. He looks at me and he goes, "Commander Baylock, Corbomite Maneuver."
I'm Baylock. Welcome aboard.
And it absolutely blew me away. George, get a life, George.
The voice of Baylock was provided by the truly gargantuan Ted Cassidy, who passed away in 1979. Ted was probably best known as the Addams family's cadaverous butler, Lurch. Ted later returned to Star Trek as the android Ruck in the episode What Are Little Girls Made Of? And keep an eye out for a young Clint Howard, brother of actor-director Ron Howard, making his television debut.
One little story about my episode of Star Trek. There was a piece of business where I offered them a drink. The Star Trek people that came on down to visit me in my little spaceship, we toasted with Tranya. Now, what Tranya actually was pink grapefruit juice. Now, to this day, I'm not a fan of pink grapefruit juice. And when I was 7 years old, it was one of those things, it was like green beans, made me gag. And I was a wise enough, actor. I knew that they could put anything in that glass to toast. I went to my dad and I said, Dad, do you think we might be able to make some sort of adjustment here? And Dad goes, no, you're an actor, and it's your job to make this work. And you're not, trust me, son, you're not going to throw up. It's good. My dad tasted it and goes, no, it's good pink grapefruit juice, and go ahead and drink it. So if you notice in the episode, I take the big slug, and I'm really like, I hope you relish it as much as I.
This is Tranya. I hope you relish it as much as I.
Commander Baylock.
I know. 1,000 questions. But first, the Tranya. Gentlemen.
It wasn't my favorite thing, and yet to this day, I'll be out somewhere, and some Star Trek fan will go, hey, Clint, how about some Tranya?
Part of what makes us human is the will to overcome our fears through intelligence and reasoning. Scientists speculate that there are over 1 billion suns in our known galaxy, and circling them, who knows how many planets. If there is life out there, and it seems more and more likely every day, we will need every bit of the courage and intelligence demonstrated by the young Mr. Bailey.